Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Kombumerri people.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Monday, December 1. In Squiz Kids Today, Moon Planet Crash Science, South Africa's Hippo Town, Roos and Matildas celebrate wins, and the world's smallest horse. That's what's making news, kids style.
The Lowdown.
It's the first day of summer, folks. And while in sporting terms in Australia that means cricket, and more cricket, a couple of other ball sports nevertheless dominated headlines over the weekend. The Matildas were first to get the country excited on Friday night when Australia's women's soccer team beat New Zealand 5-0 in a friendly on the Central Coast. Yep, you heard correctly, 5-0. And that was without star striker Sam Kerr, who sat on the bench for the entire game nursing a niggling calf injury. The Football Ferns, which is what the New Zealand women's soccer team is called, will have a chance to redeem themselves on Tuesday night when they face the Matildas again in a second friendly match in Adelaide. Meanwhile, it was celebrations all round for the North Melbourne Kangaroos on Saturday night as they polished off a stellar season of footy by beating the Brisbane Lions convincingly to win this year's AFLW Grand Final. The Roos went in minor premiers and favourites at Icon Park in Melbourne on Saturday night, having not lost a game all season. Unbelievable. And then in front of 20,000 fans, they proved why they were always going to be the team to beat. The final score was 56-16, as the Roos made it 2 premiership wins in a row. Back to back, baby. Well done to the Roos. And on the subject of making history, Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese made a little bit of it himself on Saturday when he became the first Aussie PM to get married while in office. Albo said "I do" with his partner Jodie Hayden on Saturday afternoon in front of friends and family at the Lodge, which is the Prime Minister's house in Canberra. May they have many happy years together. And finally, Aussie Formula One driver Oscar Piastri will be driving for his life in Qatar this morning, starting in pole position and hoping to win to keep his championship hopes alive. The race will finish after we've recorded this podcast, but we've got all our fingers and toes crossed.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in South Africa, where hippos have overrun a town. The town of St Lucia sits just next to a national park that happens to have the largest population of hippos in all of South Africa. And while that's great for tourism, it's less great now that the local hippos have all started to wander about the township at night, snacking on people's lawns. Look, Marjorie, there's a hippo in the front yard. Oh, don't be ridiculous, Roger. Local police and wildlife officers have had to issue warnings to locals and tourists to keep their distance if they come across a hippo wandering the town's streets. They might look cute, but hippos can sometimes be very aggressive. And hard as it may be to believe, they can run up to 30 kilometres an hour on land, which means they could easily outrun a human. So, what do you say to a hippo that's eating the flowers in your garden? Be my guest.
Spaced out.
Have you ever looked up at the moon and wondered how it got there? Scientists have been doing exactly that for centuries, and last week the mystery of the origin of the moon became a little clearer with the discovery that the planet which slammed into Earth some 4.5 billion years ago and knocked off a chunk that eventually became the moon was a planet called Theia, which was once the Earth's neighbour. Scientists reckon the planet Theia was about the size of Mars, which is pretty big. So you can imagine the almighty collision that must have happened when it slammed into Earth and sent debris flying into space. By studying samples of soil from the moon and rocks down here on Earth, scientists have been able to determine there are lots of similarities, and that the moon is made up of bits of Earth and bits of the long-destroyed planet Theia. Because when Theia slammed into Earth over 4 billion years ago, and yes, that's billion with a B, it came off second best and was completely destroyed. Amazing. And I suppose now is about as good a time as any to let you know that tomorrow's Squiz Kids shortcut is all about the moon. How it was formed, why it's been a subject of fascination for humans since forever, and why there's now a race on to get humans living there. Be sure to tune in on this podcast channel. It's a winner.
Biggest, furthest, longest.
It's been a while since we've had this segment on the podcast, a segment where we celebrate records being broken and incredible feats being performed. And today's record breaker is Pumukul, who last week was officially named the world's smallest horse. Pumukul measures a measly 53 centimetres tall. That's not even 2 classroom rulers put end to end. So, what does the world's smallest horse do, other than look extremely cute? Well, Pumukul, who lives in Germany, is a very useful little horse, as it turns out. He is what's known as a therapy animal, visiting hospitals and aged care homes to cheer up patients and the elderly. Because at the end of the day, the only measurement that matters is not how tall you are, but the size of your heart, and your desire to bring happiness to the people around you. And yes, of course, I've stuck a link to video of Pumukul in today's episode notes. Don't mention it.
Yeah, Mrs. Claus was looking good yesterday. Out of the way, please! Teddy, need more stuffing! Ready? One! Oh, man, that's the second time tall!
Can you hear that? That's the sound of Christmas fast approaching. And here at Squiz Kids, we could not be more excited. As we continue the countdown to the most magical time of the year, Squiz Kids is getting into the Christmas spirit. As per Squiz Kids tradition, we've managed, get this, to convince Santa Claus himself to hop into the Squiz Kids Q&A hot seat again this year, answering any questions you might have for him. This is your chance to say hi to the big fella in red and ask him, how does he make the magic of Christmas work? From reindeers to elves to toy workshops and sleighs. If you have a question that you would like Santa himself to answer, email it through to squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. Or go to the Squiz Kids website and record your question directly there via the link in the banner. Just be sure to get Mum and Dad's permission and follow the instructions. And because too much Christmas is never enough, we are launching an Elf on the Shelf competition too. Elves, as you know, will be arriving in households all around the country in the next couple of weeks, and we want to see what wacky places they find themselves in the lead up to Christmas in your house. Email photos of your elf to squizkids@thesquiz.com.au and we'll share them on our socials. And there'll be a prize for the weirdest and wackiest elf hiding spot. Those crazy elves.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What's the name of the New Zealand women's national soccer team? Did you say the football Ferns? You would be correct. Question number 2. What was the name of the planet that smashed into Earth 4.5 billion years ago to create the moon? The planet was called Theia, Theia. Question number 3. How many centimetres tall is Pumukul, the world's smallest horse? Well done if you said 53 centimetres.
Shout outs.
It's Monday, December 1. Pinch and a punch for the first day of the month. And what about this? It's only 24 sleeps until Christmas. How is that possible? It's also a special day for these Squiz kids, celebrating a birthday today and tomorrow. Lucia from Indrapilli, Penny from Plimpton, Gershan from Wagga Wagga, Billy from Melbourne, Kristen and Olivia from Pakenham, twins Ronnie and JJ from Brisbane, Samantha from Aspley, Ivy D from Mount Crosby, Jaden from Bolwyn North and Arjun from South Morang. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Ayan from Marsden Park and Caleb from Richmond. And today's classroom shout-outs go to Room 7 with Miss Jasmine at Goolwa Primary School, 4-6A Magpies with Mrs Murphy at Albury North Primary School, K6A with Mrs Graham at Bradbury Public School, and Class 4B with Mr Murphy at St Thomas More Catholic Parish Primary School in Roos. And a reminder, if you celebrate a birthday over the Christmas break, send us your birthday shout-out by Friday, December 12, and we'll make sure to include you in the weekly quizzes that will be going out each Friday of the school holidays. Don't forget, if you've otherwise got a birthday coming up and you want a shout-out, or if you're after a classroom shout-out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow with the Squiz Kids shortcut to the moon. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.